Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. What's up, Aussie? Aussie HB in the house. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Aussie HB. Also, round of applause for Pipeline Podcast. What's up? Hope all is well. Hope you're continuing to DCA every day. Yay, yay. All right, so the question for today is, Bitcoin down to 104K. Is it time to sell? Is it time to sell? Is Bitcoin down that you want to sell your stack? Well, let me tell you. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, we don't sell. We buy the effing dip. What up, Satwise? Round of applause from the live studio audience going out for Mr. Satwise in the house. What up, Satwise? Good to see you in here. Stoked. I have another announcement to make. Not only do we hit 100 followers on TikTok. That's right. That's right. We're moving up in the world. But our YouTube subscriber count is at a new all-time high of 371 subscribers. 371 subscribers after 429 episodes. Hey, we're doing it. We're documenting the road to DCAing a whole Bitcoin. And eventually, once the channel starts to make its own income through whatever means, we will be able to say that we documented the full path to a whole Bitcoin. Hopefully it happens before Bitcoin takes off on us. But anyway, that is the objective, long-term objective of the show, is to document the whole process of getting to one Bitcoin. All right, let's kick things off with your favorite segments, of course. And the first segment of the day is always the Bitcoin strength. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $104,652.83. You can buy 955 Satoshis for a single dollar. What is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. So, with that in mind, you don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin to start enjoying the benefits of inflation resistance that Bitcoin offers. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. You can buy half a Bitcoin. You can buy a quarter of a Bitcoin. You can buy 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. That is a Satoshi, a fraction of a Bitcoin. Okay. And whatever value you set aside into Bitcoin automatically has the same properties as having a whole Bitcoin. So imagine enjoying the properties of owning like a house or real estate and not having to buy the whole house. Like you buy one tile at a time. You buy 1 square foot at a time. But that 1 square foot of the property acts as if you have the whole property, right? With the exception that in this property, in the Bitcoin property, the Bitcoin universe, or what do you want to call it, you don't have to pay taxes on that every year just to hold it. You don't have to pay insurance just to hold it, right? You don't have to run the risk of it catching fire because it's not physical, okay? All these other things, all these virtues, but here we like to focus on the ability to appreciate the purchasing power of your savings. Pipeline Podcast says, I love it whenever like today, I ask people I work with and they say BTC is a scam. I can't wait until they're working for a dozen sats per hour and their salary is only down from the, that sucks. That sucks for those people, but yeah, you're probably gonna be right. Statwise Jenks says, exactly, Pipeline Podcast, people have no idea the value of an individual Satoshi. How valuable an individual Satoshi will be. Most people also don't know they could be divided by 1,000 on the Lightning Network for AI micro payments. Interesting. I didn't know that, Statwise. So there's another zero, like a ninth zero they can cut into and make like 1/10 of a Satoshi. That's pretty cool. 1/10 of a Satoshi. I mean, eventually, once the price gets up there, I think that's gonna have to be something that's done, right? You spend a tenth of a Satoshi. Damn, that's crazy. That's so crazy. What are those called? What is a tenth of a Satoshi called officially? Or what has anybody? Oh, microsats. Okay, that makes sense. Microsats. Interesting. Very cool. All right. Oh, ABW in the house. What up, ABW? Good to see you in here. Hope all is well. Also, shout out, round of applause to. Oops. Also, shout out, round of applause to Mr. Hard Huddle, DCA to BTC. Let's go. Let's go. Zara and Puddin, welcome to the stream over on TikTok. Sitara and also Nettie. What up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Let's get the show. Let's keep the show rolling. Let's get into the second topic of the show. And it's known as Why We Stack. This is a segment of the show where we talk about why we even save in Bitcoin. What's the point? Why should I take the value of my hard-earned labor and savings and store it in Bitcoin instead of storing it in dollars? Isn't cash king? Aren't dollars the strongest currency you can have? No. When you save in dollars, like I have my prop money right here, it's worthless. When you save in dollars, you subject the value of your earnings, the value of your savings to the constant, incessant, hidden tax known as inflation. As the currency supply increases, the purchasing power of your individual dollars decreases. So, just by taking the value of that money and moving it over into Bitcoin, you get the value, you get the purchasing power of your hard work, and you take it outside the system. You take it outside of the money system that steals from you via inflation, and then and only then will you be able to start to catch up, start to get out of debt. That's when it actually hits. Is when you is when you're able to get ahead and get out of the rat race and stop living paycheck to paycheck, right? Because all of a sudden, the value of your savings is going up and is able to buy you more things than you were able to buy when you first bought that Bitcoin, right? So, to wrap it up in a succinct message, as short as I can possibly make it, while still getting the idea across, is we save in Bitcoin because saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents those hours. And that is why we stack, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we stack. If you have any questions, do put it in the comments. What's up, Harmony? Thanks for tuning in to TikTok. I appreciate you showing up. If you have any questions about Bitcoin, beginner friendly. We're talking about saving in Bitcoin, because when we save in Bitcoin, the value of our savings increases over time and things get cheaper. When you save in dollars, the prices of things continue to go up because the purchasing power of the dollar continues to go down. And when that happens, the people that are saving in dollars become poorer and poorer, having to work harder and harder for the same things they are used to having, for the lifestyle they used to live. While the people saving in Bitcoin, the cost of their life is getting cheaper and cheaper the longer they hold a Bitcoin, because it's always increasing in purchasing power against the inflating dollar. All right, that was a little bonus extra sauce on the end of that Why We Stack segment. So welcome, and let's get rolling to the next topic of the show. Let's talk about our topic here for today. It says, Bitcoin is down to 104K. Is it time to sell? Okay. Bitcoin so far, this past couple of weeks, it's been up to, 112? Dang, 112, right? And some people didn't hear about it until it was up to 110, 111, and they're like, yeah, Bitcoin's going up, let's go. And they got in at 110, 112, $111,000 Bitcoin. Even if they didn't buy a whole Bitcoin, they bought some Bitcoin. They're looking at their stack right now. They're saying, Jesus, we're down. I bought at the very top. I bought at the new all-time high. And I am down 7%. It sounds like a lot, especially if you come from the world of stocks and bonds and all that stuff, right? 7% sounds like a big dip, but in the world in the world of Bitcoin, it's not a big dip, right? Like Bitcoin will move up and down 10, 20% for just because it wants to, right? But this is how the market makers. Well, let's talk about this. This is how the market makers buy and influence the price of Bitcoin at this level to get people to buy when it's going up, to feel like they're gonna miss out. And when they feel like they're gonna miss out, they buy at whatever price, right? And then they drop the price a little bit, and they drop a little bit more to get you to doubt yourself, right? To get you to think, oh my God, it's gonna go down to whatever. It's gonna go down to zero. I'm gonna lose all the money I put into Bitcoin. I'm gonna lose it. And they just do that so that you sell slightly lower than where you bought, right? They always lower it enough to where you feel like it's gonna be like, oh, I don't know if I can take the pain. I'm gonna sell it because I'm already down 7% right now, right? Let's say I just got into Bitcoin and bought it at 112,000. I'm down 7%. It's at 104,000 right now, right? So then you sell it, and you took that loss. You lost like about, I don't know how, it depends how much you invested, but you lost 7% of what you initially invested, like last week or whatever, right? And then you're like, yeah, Bitcoin sucks. It's not for me. I lost money on it, right? And then it starts to go back up again, and you see it, and it gets closer to where you bought in last time, when you're like, oh shoot, I should have stayed in. Whatever, I'm done with it. And then it goes to 112 again. Like it's back to where you first got in, and you're like, oh dang it, I should have stayed in. I shouldn't have sold. And then you're like, but I'm done with it. And then it goes to a new all-time high, right? It goes to like, let's say it goes to $115,000 Bitcoin. You're like, oh dang it, this thing's going forever. So then you get back in at 115,000, right? And you're like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready. It's gonna keep going. And maybe it goes up to 116, right? And then you're like, yeah, I was right. Let's go. And then you put a little bit more in there, right? Always putting it at the top. And then they flip the price again, right? Because they got some new people up there trapped that just bought, and they're gonna make them hurt. So they drop the price, and you're like, oh no, it's going down. It's going down like 6% again. And you're like, all right, this time I'm gonna stay in. I don't care if it goes down 7% again. I'm gonna stay in. I'm not gonna sell it. And then it goes down further past. It goes down to 10% from when you got in, and you're like, oh my God, this time, no, I can't. I'm gonna sell it, and you sell again, right? And that's what they get you. They keep making you buy high and making you sell low because they make it hurt, right? It's called fear and greed. They use those things, those human emotions, to control you and to manipulate you into buying high because you feel like you're gonna miss out, right? And selling low because you feel like it's gonna keep going lower and you're gonna lose money, right? So what we do here on the show is we don't worry about that stuff, okay? Because over the history of Bitcoin, and including now, like only if you bought in the past 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, you are if you bought anywhere before the past couple of weeks or past couple of months, you're basically in profits, right? You're basically in profits. So when you look at Bitcoin, you look at it, and it's a thing you save in. It's not a thing you trade. Okay, that's how we don't want to get manipulated, like I just explained. It's a thing we buy to hold for long term because we know that holding that Bitcoin, it appreciates faster than if you were holding dollars, right? And yes, on the short term, it might dip for like a month or two down like 10-15%, and you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Well, in those days when you feel like, oh my God, it's down, those are the days you should buy more. Okay, those are the days when you're gonna get a better entry. You're gonna get more Bitcoin for that dollar, right? And think of those days when it drops like that as gifts. We have a saying in Bitcoin that says dips are gifts, because we understand that long term Bitcoin is trending up. And yes, we have daily, weekly ups and downs, hourly, minute by minute ups and downs. But over the long term, when you zoom out on the chart, you see the whole chart, Bitcoin is trending up. And anybody who's held Bitcoin for at least 4 years is in the positive, is in profits, right? If you've held Bitcoin for more than 4 years, like 8 years, what we call 2 Bitcoin cycles, you're probably doing really well. Okay, so the way we avoid getting caught up in the market makers manipulation is by doing the technique that we call dollar cost averaging. Say we DCA, dollar cost average, to Bitcoin, to BTC. Okay, DCA to BTC. It's a song, actually. It's a song, so we might even play that on Friday. So come back on Friday. Okay? So we DCA to BTC. We set up a schedule. We say to ourselves, okay, let's try this Bitcoin thing out. I'm not so sure about it, but I'm going to do $5 a week. I'm going to do $1 a day, right? And I'm going to do $100 a month. Whatever your frequency is, whatever the amount you choose it and you stick to it. And no matter what the price of Bitcoin is doing, you buy that Bitcoin on your frequency and that amount, without letting the market maker trick you into thinking you're going to get a better deal if you wait, or if you buy now, or if you buy later, right? Because if you wait to buy, more than likely Bitcoin's going to go up in price, and you're going to buy less Bitcoin for the amount of money you have now. If you try to time it, you're going to end up getting manipulated by the market maker. Okay, so we buy DCA to BTC, and it's super easy. Okay, if you're watching on TikTok, I have 3 pinned videos. One of the pinned videos I have on my TikTok explains to you how the money works and how it's used to keep you working for your whole life and paying more and more of your time, of your life force, for the things that you use on your day-to-day life, right? How they use inflation to make sure that no matter how much you save and how hard you work, you will never be able to work faster, hard enough, make enough money to beat the rate of inflation, to beat the rate of growth of the money supply. Okay, and then explain to you that is the problem, right? That is the problem with the money. It keeps you poor. And then in that same video, it explains to you how Bitcoin fixes that. Okay, and then I have another video for you in the pinned post on TikTok, which is how to actually buy Bitcoin. And you'll see how I buy Bitcoin today here on the show. I'm going to do a purchase a little bit later today. But that video actually specifically tells you, walks you through setting it up with Strike and how to actually buy it and how it works. And then number 3 pinned post on my profile is the 100-day Bitcoin savings challenge. Today's day 10. I haven't bought Bitcoin yet for today, but we're doing 100 days of buying Bitcoin on TikTok. It's called the 100-day Bitcoin savings challenge. And just check out my profile. You'll see what we're doing. I show everything on all my shows. A YouTube show. If you're watching on TikTok, you want to check me out on YouTube and see the spreadsheet that we're going to bring up in a second. You can go to stackbitcoinshow.com and you'll see me live there. We'll have like this, the long, what's called the horizontal view, and have all of the spreadsheets and stuff. So you guys can see what we've been doing here for the past couple of years. Okay, I've been doing this show for at least 2 years, over 2 years. We're about 429 episodes in, and I've been saving Bitcoin here live Monday through Friday. It's been wild, and we started with $5 a day, and then we moved on to $10 a day, and now we're doing $20 a day minimum. Okay, so that's a wrap up. That's a summary for you guys in TikTok. And now let's move on to the next segment of the show that we like to call, of course, one of the most popular segments for me, or the most fun for me, because seeing it is believing, I guess, right? It's time for the Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We actually do it. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the spreadsheet on the screen up now. Oh, what did I just say? In 2025. Okay, so first of all, we start a new spreadsheet every year so that you guys can see what it's like to start saving in Bitcoin that year. Okay, so far this year in 2025, we've accumulated 0.416 Bitcoin. That cost us $3,820. And at the price of Bitcoin today, since the price of Bitcoin has gone up, that little bit of Bitcoin that we saved is now worth $4,358 for a 14% gain so far. Again, haven't sold the Bitcoin, so this is unrealized gain, but I just like to hold the Bitcoin. I hold the Bitcoin, let it get more expensive, and if I need to buy something down the road that I really need and it's worth it to me, maybe I'll sell some, but not likely. I'll just pay for that with my cash. Okay, all right. It's future money, guys. It's long-term savings. Okay, you don't spend long-term savings on frivolous things. Okay, in 2024 we did the same thing here on the show. We stacked for the whole year, on average about $20 a day, and that got us to about 0.122422217 Bitcoin. We spent $7,345 on that, or we saved $7,345 on that, and that stack is currently worth $12,821 for a gain of 74.55%. You tell me what investment is going to give you 74% gains in a year. That's amazing. It's incredible. Okay, I know it sounds crazy, but it is. Or is Bitcoin going to go up this summer, or do you think Bitcoin will go back down to 70? Welcome, Harmony. We got our official first question on TikTok. I appreciate you asking the question, Harmony. I don't know if it's going to go down to 70 or continue. But this strategy that we're doing, regardless of the price, we buy our regular price, our DCA. And if it does go down to 70, maybe I'll add a little bit more to the stack, right? I'll do like our buys for the show traditionally are $20 on days when the price of Bitcoin is above our average buy price for 2025, right? It's $40 when the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price for 2025. And it's $80 when the price of Bitcoin drops below the lowest purchase price we've had in 2025. And in this case, let's see, it was the lowest price we've seen for us during one of the shows in 2025 is 76,000, right? So if Bitcoin were to go to 76,000, I would sell my lungs. Yeah, I would sell a kidney and try to get some, right? I think it would take a catastrophic event for Bitcoin to go down to 70,000, right? And it wouldn't be because there's something wrong with Bitcoin. It would be because the people are freaking out and they need cash, so they're selling whatever assets they can sell. And since Bitcoin is available 24/7, 365, no matter what, it's always running, unlike the stock market. So it's the most susceptible to be sold if people freak out and don't understand what they really have, right? I understand what Bitcoin is. I understand what it is and what I have when I'm holding Bitcoin. So it'd be the last thing I would sell in times of crisis. Okay. Anyway, so I can't predict the price, but I can tell you that so far, it's been doing great, and I think the idea of, they call it asymmetric opportunity, right? It's more likely. It's just my opinion. It's not financial advice. It's more likely that it goes higher than it going back, than it falling. Like 70%, to go to 70% at this point, with the volume of inflation and money coming into existence, it would be crazy. And also the demand from ETFs and all these big companies that are trying to create like Bitcoin treasury reserves, I doubt it'll go to 70K before it goes to, like, I don't know, like 70K. Let's see how big of a dip that would be. Let's see, so to go down to 70K, it would be wow, that's a big dip. Maybe it'd be like a 37%. It'd be like a 37% drop, right? But keep that number in mind. Okay, we're looking at the spreadsheet now on the screen. 37% drop since we've been saving in Bitcoin for 2 years, right? A 37% drop doesn't mean anything to us. It gets absorbed into our current profits. We're up 94% for the past 2 years. For the past 2 years, we're up 94% in our full stack, right? We saved up $14,000, and it's currently worth about $28,000. So if the value of my savings went down 30%, if Bitcoin went down to 70,000, right? I'm still up like 60%, right? I'm still up 60% of my savings only after 2 years, and that's during the worst. That'd be like during the worst, like one of the worst things that can happen in Bitcoin, right? So it's more likely, I believe, that for it to go up than for it to be to go down like that much, to go down that like 35% or however much it was. Summer in the house. What up, Summer? Good to see you in here. Thanks for tuning in. It says, I heard because of tariffs and the economy going down, that is going to drop back down to 70. Got it. So tariffs are inflationary. Okay. So what happens with tariffs is the price of things goes up. That means things are more expensive, right? And it creates a bigger money supply, right? So when you have a bigger money supply, what happens to the individual value of each individual dollar? It's just another way to increase the money supply, right? So instead of having the normal inflation that we have every single day from just money printing and banks issuing debt, right? When banks issue a loan, they're basically creating new money and expanding the money supply, right? And when they expand the money supply, the individual dollar value of each bill is less. You can buy less things with it because it represents less of the percentage of the money supply. Okay. So with that as a foundation, let's answer that question. Will the effects of tariffs make the price of Bitcoin go down? I think it's going to be the opposite, right? Yeah. And the dollar is going to be, the dollar gets more weak with tariffs. And when the dollar gets weaker, you need more of those dollars to buy the same stuff. So it'll just appear as if the price of Bitcoin is going up because the purchasing power of the dollar is going down even more. Okay, just like we see on our spreadsheet here, right? And like I give this example all the time because we're at $14,000 saved and turned into $28,000, right? I didn't have to do anything extra. What happened was the price, the purchasing power of the dollar today buys me a lot less Bitcoin. So I need to come up with $28,000 instead of $14,000 to buy 0.27 Bitcoin. Right? So that's kind of how it works. But dude, great questions. Summer, I see you in there. Thanks for liking the like. Oh, I see what's happening. That's cool. Sorry guys, I'm learning TikTok. So it's just like my 4th or 5th TikTok show. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. And Harmony, love the questions. Thanks for taking the time to ask the questions and do my best. If my questions are too long-winded, my answers are too long-winded or complicated, just ask follow-up questions. I'm here for you guys. The good thing about my audience being a little bit small is the people that are in here want to be in here. They want to learn about Bitcoin, and I want to teach you about Bitcoin. And while we can take advantage of me while I'm here live during the live streams, I'm an open book. I'm ready to help and happy to help. Okay. All right, that is the stack recap. Let's get into the final section of the stack recap. Let's see. In 2025, right now the price of Bitcoin is 104,000, and our average buy price for 2025 is 94,000. So that means that today we're gonna buy only $20 worth of Bitcoin. So let's get ready to do that. Is Carlos here? No, Carlos has been here for a couple of days. It was yesterday and day before yesterday. So maybe we haven't seen Carlos yet, but he's probably in there, chilling. All right. Let's do this. Now that we know that we're only going to buy about $20 worth of Bitcoin, there's only one thing left to do, and that is time to stack some Bitcoin, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, time to stack some Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the above. Let's see. Let's buy some Bitcoin. This is how easy it is, okay? Super easy. I go on my phone. I unlock it with my secret code. And then I go over to the Strike app. Bam. Oh, hold on. Let me make it protect. There it is. I get on my Strike app and I go to buy. Boom. I hit $20 because we're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin today on the Stack Bitcoin show. For today's dollar cost average on June 4th, 2025, we hit next. The confirmation page comes up. We cut the music, hit the drum roll, and hit confirm. And we're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin right now on the Stack Bitcoin show. We do this Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Join us. There it is. Just like that, we've accumulated an additional 18,895 Satoshis. If you missed it, you might be asking yourself, what the hell is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis, fractions of a Bitcoin. And we just bought 18,895 Satoshis, fractions of a Bitcoin. And now we're going to put it into our spreadsheet for 2025 because we're buying Bitcoin Monday through Friday, showing my friends, my family, and my new friends, you guys, what Bitcoin is about and how it's going to help you fight inflation. Today we bought Bitcoin at the price we deserve. You always buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve. If you choose to buy now, you might get a better price than if you choose to buy in the future, but you always get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Today we deserve the price of $104,895.47. we purchased at that rate. We purchased $20 worth, and that got us 0.00018,895. As you can see, if you move the decimal point over to the right 8 spaces, you get the Satoshi value of that Bitcoin. So we can say 0.00018,895 Bitcoin, or we can say 18,895 Satoshis. Just like I can say $1, or I can say 100 cents, 100 pennies, right? There you go. All right. So that's purchased. That's done. Done deal. I'm going to copy the spreadsheet over to, I'm going to copy the data over to the spreadsheet that tracks all the buys we've done so far on the show since May 22nd, 2023, and scroll through, and you can see if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, I didn't have it on the screen. Dang it. I forgot to switch screens. There it is. If you have it on the show, you can see that we're all in the green. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 out of 533 buys that we've done on Bitcoin here for the show are in the red. Everything else is in the green. And you can watch the spreadsheet. You can look at it on YouTube. StackBitcoinShow.com if you want to watch the replay with all the screenshots and stuff. Okay. All right. Putting in the data and copying this information. There it is. All right. The new total for the show so far in the journey of stacking one whole Bitcoin is 0.37461687, and that Bitcoin is currently worth about $39,000 and $39,219.31. That is the stack for the show. That is how much we've saved so far here on the show. It's crazy. It's wild. So, in case you didn't get the answer to the question I posed on the title to this video, Bitcoin down to 104. Is it time to sell? No, it's not time to sell. It's time to buy more, because dips are gifts. All right. Let's see. Am I getting too into it? Am I getting too into it? Let me know if I'm overdoing it. But I'm having a good time. This is super fun, and I'm starting to get the hang of like looking up and down for TikTok and YouTube. So hey, we do what we can, guys. Okay, it's super easy to save in Bitcoin. I can do it live while I'm streaming to YouTube and TikTok, reading comments, being my own DJ, queuing up the band for the drum rolls, right? You can do it too. It's easy. All right. Let's round the show off by jumping into the Q&A segment. If you have any questions, please do put them in the chat, both on YouTube or TikTok. I'll linger on here and talk for a couple seconds to see if any questions come through. If no questions come through, we'll wrap up the show and move on with our lives and continue to get out there in the world and do positive things that earn us value in the economic energy, and take that economic energy and store it into Bitcoin and get yourself eventually to one whole Bitcoin if possible. If you get to one whole Bitcoin, you're a legend. You're a legend if you get to one whole Bitcoin at this point, okay? And it's only going to continue to get more and more scarce. So even if you don't get to the whole Bitcoin, get to half a Bitcoin, get to a quarter of a Bitcoin, it's still going to be legendary status, because a lot of people nowadays don't even understand what Bitcoin is. Right? They think it's some weird thing, right? While they're struggling and living paycheck to paycheck, trying to get by, looking for the solution, the answer to getting out of that rat race, the answer is staring them right in the face, and they don't want to learn about it. And that's tragic. That's tragic. That the barrier to entry to Bitcoin is so low that you can start with $1, but you don't. But most people don't have the time. It's not their fault. Most people don't have the time or energy after working a long day to look into it. I mean, it just sounds like more stuff, you know? So if that's you, bear with me. Show up. Look at what we're doing. Go watch some of the video. Go watch some of this show on YouTube. The Stack Bitcoin Show. Go to stackbitcoinshow.com so you can see the spreadsheets and get motivated to start. Because if you're not saving in Bitcoin, you're gonna be a fiat slave the rest of your life. That's what it comes down to. Okay. Junius Dawson, welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. We're about to wrap this thing up. Hope all is well. Let's kick off the sign-off music. Okay, here we go. And just like that, the show must come to an end. We'll wrap up the Stack Bitcoin show here on YouTube and TikTok. We're going to close out YouTube first, and then I'll sign off on TikTok after. So hang out, TikTok. But yeah, slow and steady, continuing to stack Bitcoin at any price. Stick to your dollar cost average schedule. Buy Bitcoin, take custody of the Bitcoin, and live your life. Okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye. I feel like a DJ. Air horn. Have a good one, guys. All right, we signed.